Okay, so if you look at page one of the complete a team logbook activity, which is right here. You with me?
Yeah.
All right. You see, you write your student's name up top, your student name up top, your today's date, the instructor's name. Okay, and then I'll fill in the grade portion of it, obviously. Now, purpose of this activity is to reinforce student understanding of the hours of service regulations already learned, to broaden the student's understanding of the hours of service as they relate to practical application in team driving contexts. And this activity also serves to evaluate the student's ability to understand and apply the hours of service through a specific CDL driving genre. This exercise also serves to give the student a glimpse of what it is to be a team CDL driver. Being a team driver is a lot different than being a solo driver. When you go to sleep, you're going to wake up in a different state, probably. Okay. Or maybe 2 states over. All depends on how long you sleep, I guess. But that truck never stops moving. Okay. So the instructions for this assignment will be to create legal hours of service logs and DBIRs for the following team driving trip. Fill in the duty status form. And this is going to be the trip form for the assignment. So both sheets of this paper will get filled out and turned in with all the logbooks from both students. Okay. So you'll do yours and you'll turn them in with your form, and then he'll do his and turn it in with his form. Okay. Now the assignments, let me not to get too far ahead of myself here. So your carrier, let's see here. So fill in the duty status form. The first day has been done for you. You must use all the cities mentioned on page 1, lines 6 and 7. Your carrier's Dawn Career Institute Trucking, 252 Chapman Road. You can abbreviate this by saying DCI Trucking. Okay. Consignor, you'll put the name and the address. The name and the address of the consignor is given for you already. Now the name is Post Office Square. The address is 225 Franklin Street, Boston, Massachusetts. All right. All right. Consignee's name and address is the Greater Key West Chamber of Commerce. Address is 510 Green Street, Key West, Florida, 33040. The origin for your trip is going to be Boston, Massachusetts. All cities stopped at after leaving Boston, Massachusetts. So this trip will take you from Boston, Massachusetts to Baltimore, Maryland, Ashland, Virginia, Savannah, Georgia, Jacksonville, Florida, Key West, Florida. At that point, you'll turn around and start to head back this way, head back north to Homestead, Florida, Tallahassee, then Byron, Georgia. You're going to slide over to Atlanta and then drive up through Lynchburg to Secaucus, New Jersey, then to Boston, Massachusetts. All right, rubric grading. Now, the trip form will be scored on the following instructions. You see it on page 1, bottom of page 1. 50% for following instructions, and form and manner will be graded on form and manner for 50%. Logs will be graded on the standard for DCI logbook activities. So the way I always grade your logs, that's how we're going to do it. And if you were to click this link, you go to the form and you see how the logs are graded. Okay. Scores from the log and the trip form will be averaged together to give you a grade for this project. Now, resources for this project are going to be the Rand McNally Truckers Atlas, Google Search, Google Maps, and Google Earth. Now, go to page 2. Page 2, we see day 1 driver's name. Whoever's going to start driving will put their name right here on driver's name, day 1. And then the first 2 legs of the trip are already laid out for you. The mileage is there, the destinations, the start and stops are there, okay? So leg 1 is going to be from Boston, Massachusetts to Baltimore, Maryland. Leg 2 is going to be from, sorry. Leg 1 is from Boston, Massachusetts to Baltimore, Maryland. Leg 2, which is the second part of that first driver's trip, it's going to be from Baltimore, Maryland to Ashland, Virginia. It's a total of 532 miles for that driver. Now, driver number 2 goes from Ashland, Virginia. This driver starts driving at Ashland, Virginia, drives to Savannah, Georgia, 485 miles, stops, gets fuel, takes his quick lunch break, and then back in the truck's back on the road, heads to Savannah, Georgia, or heads from Savannah, Georgia on to Jacksonville. Total miles for that day for the single driver for that leg is going to be 625 miles. Okay. Remember, the single driver's miles goes in the left box. The team driving miles goes in the right box at the top left part of the log. So when I say the team driving miles, I mean the total miles the truck moved during that day. Okay. Will go in the right box. So you would add up 532 plus 625, and that would tell you how many hours the truck moved during that day. Now, your next part of the journey, you'll have to figure out your mileages, and you'll have to figure out the rest of it. Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. It is going to take some thinking. It's going to take some common sense on your part to complete this successfully. Down on line 8, you'll use your starting mileage. So you'll put a starting mileage, and then you'll put an ending mileage beneath it on line 9. So your starting mileage is whatever, you're going to add whatever the total miles for the whole trip were. Additionally, you'll fill out driver's daily logs for this trip and DBIRs. Okay, so do the driver's daily log and the DBIR on each page. Okay, whenever we do driver's daily logs, it should be a foregone conclusion that we're also going to do the DBIR on the back of the page as well. All right, also fill out the post-trip inspection, the DBIR. List your route. Now, what I mean by this, the example given here is 95 north to 80 west. Okay, if you're going from Boston to Florida, it's a super simple route. Okay, it won't take you long to figure it out. All right, the route coming back is a little more difficult. Okay, because you go out through the sticks, but you'll be able to figure that out, I'm sure. All right, well, God bless you. Good luck to you. I'm sure you're going to do great.